Hey everyone, and welcome back. I'm Megan.
And I'm Luke, and we are so happy you are joining us today for some English listening practice.
We know that learning a new language can be difficult, especially understanding fast conversations. That's why we are here. We talk slowly and clearly, just like real friends, so you can relax and improve your listening.
Exactly. Today, we have a really fun topic. It's something that almost everyone experiences.
That's right. Have you ever had a job that was a little bit embarrassing? Or maybe a job that taught you a huge lesson?
A job where you made funny mistakes, or maybe you had a strange boss. Well, today, we are going to talk all about our very first jobs. It's going to be fun. We have some funny stories to share.
We do. So grab a cup of tea or coffee, get comfortable, and let's get started.
So, Megan, how's your morning going? You seem very cheerful today.
It's going really well, thanks. The sun is shining, my coffee is good. I can't complain. How about you, Luke?
I'm doing great. I went for a walk this morning and it was so peaceful. It really helps me start my day feeling fresh.
Oh, that sounds so nice. I should try that. I usually just wake up and immediately check my phone, which is a terrible habit.
Oh, I do that sometimes too. It's hard to resist. But speaking of mornings, my walk this morning made me think about something funny.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
I walked past that old movie theater downtown, the one that's been closed for years, and it just sent me back in time. I suddenly remembered my very first job. I worked there.
No way! You worked at the Grand Palace Theater? I love that old building. Wow, I never knew that. That must have been a cool first job.
Cool is one word for it. It was an experience. It was my first time ever earning money. I was only 16 years old. I felt so grown up.
16. That's the classic age to get your first job. What did you do there? Did you sell the popcorn or take the tickets?
I did everything. That's what happens in a small old theater. I was part of the floor staff. So one day I would be at the candy counter selling popcorn, soda, and candy. The next day I would be the ticket taker, tearing the little ticket stubs. And my least favorite job was being the usher.
An usher? What does an usher do?
The usher is the person who cleans the theater after the movie is finished. You go in with a big broom and a dustpan. And let me tell you, people are messy.
Oh, I can imagine. Spilled soda, popcorn everywhere, on the floor, on the seats. Yuck.
Exactly. It was so sticky and gross, especially after a kid's movie. Kids are the messiest. I would find half-eaten hot dogs and melted chocolate everywhere. It was a disaster zone.
Oh, poor 16-year-old Luke. That sounds awful. But the other parts must have been fun, right? Selling candy sounds easy enough.
It was fun sometimes. The best part was the uniform. We had this ridiculous uniform. It was a bright red vest, a little black bow tie, and a funny-looking hat. I thought I looked so professional, but looking back at pictures, I just looked silly.
A bow tie. That is amazing. You have to show me a picture of that sometime. Did you have a boss?
Oh, yes. My boss was a man named Mr. Henderson. He was very, very serious. He was probably only 50 years old, but he seemed like an old man to me. He always said, "Luke, the customer is always right. Always."
That's a classic rule in customer service.
It is. But sometimes the customers were not right. I have a story about that. It's a little embarrassing, but it's funny now.
Ooh, I want to hear it. Tell me.
Okay, so I was working at the candy counter. It was a busy Saturday night, lots of people. A woman comes up and orders a large popcorn and a large soda. I get it for her. She pays. Then she looks at me and says, "Where is the butter?"
The butter for the popcorn?
Yes. And at our theater, we had this butter-flavored topping. It was a liquid in a pump. So I pointed to the pump and said, "It's right over there, ma'am. You can add as much as you like."
Okay, that sounds normal.
That's what I thought. But she looks at the pump with a disgusted face. She says, "That is not butter. That is oil. I want real butter." And I was just a kid, you know? I didn't know what to say. I told her, "I'm sorry, ma'am, but this is the only butter we have."
Oh no, I can feel the tension rising. What did she do?
She started talking very loudly. She said, "This is unacceptable. I paid for popcorn, and popcorn needs real butter." And people in line started to look. I was so nervous. My face turned bright red.
Oh, Luke, I feel so bad for you in that moment.
And just then, my boss, Mr. Henderson, comes out from the back office. He asks, "Is there a problem here?" The woman points at me and says, "This young man is refusing to give me real butter for my popcorn."
Oh, she totally threw you under the bus.
Totally. And I'm thinking, we don't have real butter. What can I do? But Mr. Henderson, he just smiles at her, a very calm smile. He says, "I am so sorry about that, ma'am. Let me fix this for you." He tells me to handle the other customers. He takes her popcorn and goes into the back.
Where did he go? Did you guys have a secret stash of real butter?
No, this is the crazy part. I was so curious, so I peeked into the back room, and you know what he was doing? He was taking the exact same butter-flavored oil from a big container and just pouring it into a different, special-looking cup. He didn't do anything different.
You are kidding me.
I'm not. Then he comes back out, presents the little cup of oil to her, and says, "Here you are, ma'am, our special reserve butter just for you." And she looks at it, smiles, and says, "Thank you. See, that wasn't so hard." And she just walks away happily.
That is one of the best stories I have ever heard. She had no idea it was the same stuff.
None at all. Later, Mr. Henderson came to me and said, "Luke, sometimes the customer isn't right, but our job is to make them feel like they are right." That was a huge lesson for me. It wasn't about the butter. It was about making her feel special and heard.
Wow, that's actually very smart. It's about psychology. Your boss was a genius, a very serious but very smart genius.
He really was. So yeah, that was my first job, cleaning sticky floors, wearing a silly bow tie, and learning about fake butter. Take a deep breath and smile. But what about you, Megan? What was your first ever job? I feel like you would have a more organized, less chaotic job than me.
Smile. Well, you're kind of right. It was definitely less sticky. My first job was at the local public library.
A library. See? I knew it. That is the perfect first job for you. Quiet, organized, surrounded by books.
It was. I was 15, a little younger than you. I was a library page. It sounds very fancy, but it wasn't.
What did a library page do?
My main job was to put the books back on the shelves. When people return books, they put them in a bin. My job was to take the books from the bin, sort them on a cart, and then walk around the library putting each book in its exact correct spot.
That actually sounds very peaceful and kind of satisfying. I like organizing things.
It was very satisfying. I loved it. You had to know the system, the Dewey Decimal System, to find where everything went. It was like a puzzle. I would put on my headphones and listen to music while I walked around a quiet library. It was the opposite of your busy, loud movie theater.
That does sound nice. No angry customers yelling about butter?
No, definitely not. My boss was also very different from yours. Her name was Mrs. Gable. She was a sweet, older woman with white hair and glasses. She was so kind and patient. She never got angry. If you made a mistake, she would just say, "Oh dear, let's fix that together."
She sounds like a grandmother. That's so sweet. So, did you have any funny or weird experiences? It's hard to imagine anything crazy happening in a library.
You would be surprised. It wasn't crazy like your story, but there were some strange things. My main job was shelving books, but sometimes I had to work at the front desk, checking books in and out for people.
Okay, I can see where this might get interesting.
Most people were very nice, but there was one man, we called him the book sniffer.
The book sniffer. What does that mean?
He was an older man who came in every Tuesday. He would check out a big pile of books, but before he checked them out, he would pick up each book, one by one, close his eyes, and smell the book. He would take a big, deep sniff of the book's pages.
No. Why? Old books have a specific smell, but why would you do that?
I have no idea. The first time I saw him do it, I was so confused. I just stared at him. He opened his eyes, saw me staring, and just smiled. He said, "Ah, the smell of a good story." And then he continued sniffing the next book.
That is so wonderfully weird. I love that. He wasn't hurting anyone, just enjoying the books in his own special way.
Exactly. It became a normal thing. Every Tuesday, we'd say, "Oh, it's 2 o'clock. The book sniffer will be here soon." He was part of the library's character.
That's hilarious. It's funny how every job has its own unique characters and stories. It's not just about the work, it's about the people you meet.
It really is, and I learned something important too. It wasn't a big psychological lesson like yours, but it was important to me.
What was it?
Well, the job paid very little money. It was minimum wage. I think I earned about $5 an hour, so my weekly paycheck was maybe $50 or $60. It felt like nothing.
Oh, I know that feeling. My movie theater job was the same. I would work for a whole weekend and get a check for $70. It was so small.
Right. And one day I was putting books away and I saw a book that I really, really wanted to buy. It was a beautiful hardcover book with amazing pictures. I looked at the price. It was $25.
Okay.
And I did the math in my head. I realized that this one book would cost me 5 hours of work, 5 hours of walking around, pushing a heavy cart, sorting books for one single item.
Wow. When you think about it like that, it really changes your perspective.
It changed everything for me. It was the first time I truly understood the value of money. It wasn't just numbers on a piece of paper. It was my time, my effort. That day, I learned to be much more careful with how I spent my money. I didn't buy the book.
That's a powerful lesson. And it's a lesson you can only learn from earning your own money, no matter how small it is. My parents always told me that money doesn't grow on trees, but I didn't really understand it until I had to clean up spilled soda for $7 an hour.
Exactly. Suddenly, buying a $10 movie ticket or a $5 coffee feels very different. You think, is this worth an hour of my life?
It's so true. Looking back, I wouldn't trade my movie theater job for anything. It was hard and sometimes embarrassing, but it taught me responsibility. It taught me how to deal with difficult people, and it taught me that a little bit of creative problem solving, like with the special reserve butter, can go a long way.
I feel the same way about my library job. It taught me the importance of organization, being patient, and the real value of a dollar. And it also gave me my love for quiet spaces.
And it gave you the wonderful story of the book sniffer.
I will never forget him. I hope he's out there somewhere, happily sniffing books.
It's funny, isn't it? Our first jobs seem so small and unimportant when we are young. You just do them to have a little bit of spending money, but they shape you in small ways. They teach you lessons that you carry with you for the rest of your life.
They really do. They are your first step into the adult world. You learn that work can be hard, but there's a real pride in getting your own paycheck, no matter how small it is. There's a pride in doing a job well, even if it's just putting books on a shelf perfectly.
Or making sure the theater floor isn't sticky. You know, I think everyone should have a job like that at least once. A customer service job or a simple labor job. It teaches you empathy. It teaches you to be a kinder customer.
I completely agree. After working in the library, I always make sure to put books back neatly in a bookstore. And after hearing your story, I will never, ever complain about movie theater butter again.
Well, my work is done then. But you're right. Those jobs are foundation. They build your character. They give you stories to tell. And they make you appreciate the better jobs you get later in life.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you walked past that old theater this morning, Luke. It was so fun to hear your story and remember mine.
Me too, Megan. It's nice to look back and see how far we've come. From a sticky movie theater and a quiet library to, well, to here, talking to all of you.
And that is our reflection for today. First jobs can be tough, funny, and sometimes strange, but they are an important part of life's journey. We hope you enjoyed our stories.
We hope this conversation was helpful for your English practice. Did you have a funny or interesting first job? We would love to read about it. You can tell us about it in the comments below.
That's a great idea. Thank you so much for joining us today. Keep practicing your English, be patient with yourself, and we will see you in the next video.
Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for watching. For more amazing content and subscribe to Fluent Fusion English.